Hey guys, welcome to Learnin, the show dedicated to learning you some filmmaking and learning you good. Well, if you watched the last episode, you know what this one's about, and just in case you don't, I wore a very subtle t-shirt. By the way, I'm wearing sunglasses because my eye looks like utter crap right now.
Yeah, like crap.
Thanks, Pig. So, today is a quickie episode on how to dispatch a Goomba. I say quick because it's really not that complicated. Now, let's talk about that Goomba. I've actually made him myself in Cinema 4D. He's a pretty basic model, and all I did was just subtly animate his body and eyes to make him, not look like a still I swiped from Google Images. If you want to have a play with him, I've included the model as a free download in the description, so go for it. In order to integrate him into our shot, I rendered out 3 passes: the Goomba himself, a shadow pass including some shading, and an object buffer. Basically, the object buffer tells After Effects what part of the picture we want to keep and what we want to cut. Think of it like frame-by-frame masking without the hassle. If you have After Effects CC, this process is even easier as Cinema 4D Lite is already integrated, but I don't, so it is what it is. In order to complete today's effect, you'll need your fireball throw shot from the last episode, a copy of Action Essentials 2, and the retro font I've included below. I've also included the rendered Goomba files down below, so let's get to work. So here we are back at the fireball throw comp. Now you may have noticed last episode that I didn't show you the whole comp. That's because I already had part of this effect in place. If I drag the comp all the way out, you can see that both the fireball and our reference ball disappear at this point in the shot. So how did I do that? Easy peasy, guys. If we check out a preview of the unfinished shot, you'll see that the ball just bounces out of the way once the fireball animation's through. So here's how we do it. Our first step, hit Ctrl-Shift-D and split the clip where the ball starts to show up again. We'll then head up, grab the pen tool and draw a rough mask around Mario's hand, basically just splitting the video clip into 2 parts. We'll then jump down and just feather it out a little bit. Next, we'll head up to the project window, double-clicked on my throwing footage and found a part of the shot before I threw the ball. I then used markers here to trim the clip. We'll then grab that clip and drag it to the bottom of the comp. Now as you can see, when we cycle through, the fireball stops and our bottom clip fills in that background. The next step is to add the Goomba. Firstly, we add the Goomba himself, then the object buffer, and finally our shadow layer. To activate the object buffer, we simply select the Goomba. We then change the transfer mode to Luma Matte by clicking here and selecting Luma Matte. Now that that's done, we'll then drop our shadow layer on and change the transfer mode to Multiply. Now that the Goomba's been put together, we'll highlight all 3 layers and shift the little bugger into position. Since we still have all the Goomba layers selected, we'll also shift him on the timeline so he looks up and sees that fireball just before it hits. Let's check out a preview. Not bad. To finish him off, we'll highlight all 3 layers, scrub to the end of our fireball comp, hit Ctrl-Shift-D, and trim that excess. Now, time to destroy him. To explode him, we're dipping back into Action Essentials 2. You'll only need 2 assets this time, Firecracker 03 and Powder Hit 07. Grab your Firecracker asset, drop it in the comp, and then move it up to the second last frame of our fireball animation. We'll then move it into position and then change the transfer mode to Add. Next, grab Powder Hit 07 and do the exact same thing. Now I don't really like the first frame of this one, so I'm going to trim it back 1 frame and then move it into position. I'd also like it a little bit thicker, so I'm going to hit Ctrl-D and duplicate it. But just so there's a bit of difference between those 2 clips, I'll change the transfer mode on the bottom one to Add. Alright, let's check out a preview. It's looking good, Mr. Simpson. But we've got one last step. Let's add our score. I've already made up a quick still of the score, but we all know how to use the text tool now. All we do now is hold down Shift, drag and drop that score at the waypoint right here, and let's animate it. Hit P on the stopwatch, skip forward around 15 frames, and drag it up right off screen. Done. Let's see the finished shot. And another one bites the dust, gang. Add all those steps together and you'll get something like this. Hey, you stupid Goomba! Get out of my house! So that's killing Goomba's fireball style, guys. As you can see, it's a really simple effect, and it's a lot easier than building that damn fireball. Now if you're going to try it at home, you'll need some sound effects, right? Well, if you click the link in the description, you'll be able to download some of those great Super Mario sound effects. So check it out and go nuts. If you're new here, power up that subscribe button. Don't forget to give me a hearty thumbs up. Share up the video. You can also join me on all that social media jibber jabber. And I'll see you in a few days for some Mario 64 goodness. And as always, my Koopa kids, keep learning.